The freshman, Reese Beekman, Corey.
And we talked with Coach Bennett. He let us know that right now he is tinkering with the lineups, trying to find the best group that plays together. And Reese Beekman was the surprise coming out of the preseason. All the coaches were raving about him, and he's being rewarded for his actions right now with 2 straight starts in a row.
All right, Beekman, Walden, Tensai, McCoy, Hauser, and Huff against the Golden Flashes of Rob Senderhoff. And his team 1-0 after a win the other night against Point Park in their season opener Division NAIA team. Falling to the Golden Flashes. Justin Hamilton's a transfer from Temple, native of Charlotte. Ball in the air with he and Jay Huff with Ron Gruber, Lee Cassell, and Justin Porterfield on the call here tonight from a whistle perspective, and the Golden Flash have it first.
And Wes, you and I talked with Coach Senderhoff yesterday. We asked him, will you be simply encouraging your team to shoot more threes as we see the easy bucket getting to the paint early, but will you encourage them to shoot more threes, recognizing that that is the kryptonite to the pack line defense? If you're going to beat Virginia, you're going to have to do it from beyond the arc. Normally, you don't see guys getting uncontested layups, but pretty close to a first one there on the first possession of the game.
Yeah, Mike Nuga, transfer out of Portland State, scoring on the layup, and here's Virginia's first offensive possession, and that is Beekman scoring right down the middle to tie the ball game.
And for the Virginia fans watching this game, one thing you will see that looks familiar is the mover blocker offense. Tony Bennett over the summer went to a 5-out offense to take advantage of their shooting ability, but since the loss to San Francisco, we've seen much more of the mover blocker, which is the traditional offense for the Cavaliers.
Tried to sneak it inside. This is Danny Pippen, senior. Misses on the 3, and Jay Huff the rebound. Virginia will bring it front court with Beekman, the freshman from Baton Rouge. Justin McCoy, of course, a sophomore in this program, and here's Hauser. And Beekman turned it over. Kent State in transition. Malik Jacobs, junior college transfer. He and Giovanni Santiago run the offense for Kent State. Hamilton scores with the left hand off the block to give Kent State the lead.
Yeah, nice move by Hamilton there, but more importantly, he went quickly and didn't allow Virginia the opportunity to get the post trap on him by going over that outside shoulder away from where the trap was coming.
Walden Tensai's been a slow starter through the first 3 games, Corey.
Well, you remember Walden Tensai had a very slow start to his season a year ago, and then that Louisville game where he knocked down 7 3-pointers really picked up his offense from there. But the beginning of the season, everyone for Virginia started off slowly. So the fact that they're scoring so many points on the offensive end right now is definitely a benefit for Virginia. I just don't think right now their defense is where they're used to being.
Nuga tried to drive it to the rim, got knocked away and turned over by Kent State. Interested to watch Virginia attack with Hauser. Here's Walden Tensai. Across the top of the screen, Hauser the catch and shoot, and a front rim miss. Cavaliers come in hitting under 8 threes a game, by the way.
But when you look at Virginia on the offensive end, Hauser is a small forward. You've got McCoy playing the 4 position, and where Justin McCoy really helps Virginia on the defensive end of the floor, he falls into the lines of the Isaiah Wilkins, the Darian Atkins. I'm not saying he's those guys yet, but he has an opportunity to be that level of a player and help Virginia's defense, which has been the struggle thus far this year.
Danny Pippen, who was hitless in 7 3-point tries the other night in the season opener for Kent State, buries a triple there. He averaged 14 points, 7 rebounds a year ago for the Golden Flashes, and he's pushed the Kent State lead to 5.
But one of the things you saw was McCoy was there on the shot. Give Pittman credit for knocking it down, but McCoy was able to recover and get there. That was a problem for Virginia earlier, but no problem for Hauser knocking down the 3.
5th 3 of the year for Hauser, and Virginia answers the Kent State long ball, if you will. Malik Jacobs, by the way, working out front, one of the several junior college transfers added to the Kent State program. And the Golden Flash turned it over in the half court. That'll get us to a timeout. Research. It's a week we're awfully proud of on ACC Network, certainly because of Coach Valvano's ties to this conference, but also across all of our ESPN family of networks. More stories to come as we move through the weekend and on into next week.
We've seen what Tony Bennett likes to call the hockey line change with the substitutions coming in. But it hasn't been the whole 5.
Yep.
Beekman and Hauser stay on the floor, but 3 new additions to the lineup for Virginia.
Yeah, Kihei Clark's out there. We also get our first look at Caden Shedrick too, right?
Caden Shedrick had a very good game for Virginia last time out against St. Francis. 12 points for him.
Justin Hamilton knocks down the baseline jump shot.
And one of the things that Coach Senderoff talked to us about was he wanted to see of his team, because of course they've only played the 1 game versus Point Park, the NAIA school. He wanted to see who was going to step up and would not be scared playing against Virginia. Now, one thing for certain, it's a different scenario when there are no fans in the stands at JPJ. Yep. Because, and we talked with Tony Bennett about it, the JPJ for the last 7-8 years has been, if not definitely one of the best home court environments nationally in the ACC. I mean, it has been rocking in that place. We also reminisced about when he first got the job, and I was doing radio in Virginia, and you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
So, but going in and playing at JPJ without the crowd, it is a difference maker, and Coach Bennett found that out when they had their home opener versus St. Francis.
Foul on Kihei Clark, his first, will be the first foul of the ball game. Corey, they are 123-14 at home with Tony Bennett. And a lot of those L's are in the first couple of years, my man.
Yes, they are.
A lot of that 14 is early, as they say.
The first year was a struggle.
Yep.
I lived through that, traveled with the team, called every game on the radio. The first year was a struggle as he tried to establish the culture in the system. Second year was a little better, but since then he's really found his way and established in Charlottesville, of course, which is a national championship program. And the fans have definitely supported it.
Third turnover by Kent State on the dribble by Jeremiah Hernandez, and there is a foul. That is Malik Jacobs, the junior college transfer from Indian Hills, who went 30-3 last year at the junior college level with Indian Hills out of Wilmington, North Carolina. His first foul on the reach against Hauser, who then takes the inbounds pass and misses the jump shot. We get another whistle and foul, that time along the baseline. A quick reminder to you, ACC Network's your home for women's basketball next Thursday night, right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Jen Hildreth, Kelly Gramlich, who will be in Winston-Salem for Wake Forest and North Carolina at 6 o'clock. And then Beth Mowens, Debbie Antonelli, and number 22 Syracuse at Coral Gables to meet Katie Myers' Miami Hurricanes at 8, right here on ACC Network, streaming live on that ESPN app. Kent State knocked it away, couldn't control it. It'll stay with Virginia. 11 to shoot for the Cavaliers, who still trail 2.
Hey, Wes,
2 fouls on Malik Jacobs, too, by the way, Corey.
You know I love Sam Hauser. Watched him practice a lot last year. Seen him, he's a special player, but I like him even more. He's got some CA in him. He got 5 looks at it already in the first 6 minutes of the game. That's my guy.
Kihei Clark knocks down the 3. First triple of the year for Clark. And Virginia in front of point.
And you saw a bit of a sigh of relief for Kihei knocking down that 3, because this young man puts in a lot of work. No question about it. He really improved as a shooter a year ago. And so when you put in that much work and you play 3 games without making a 3-point field goal, that can get discouraging. Good to see him knock one down.
3 ball off the hand of Nuga. Rebounded by Huff. Virginia has hit half their field goals from behind the line. And another foul call. That's Jeremiah Hernandez, his first, 3rd on the Golden Flashes.
And when you attract as much attention as Sam Hauser does when he puts the ball on the floor, it's often going to leave opportunities for his teammates. That time, Kihei Clark able to take advantage of knocking down the 3.
Here's Clark on the lob for Huff. Trey Murphy on the floor wearing 25. Here's Walden Tensai, catch and shoot 3 at the front. Thomas Walden Tensai makes that look easy.
8-0 run for Virginia. Back-to-back three-pointers has really helped. And this is a much better shooting team. When you add Murphy, you add Hauser, Tenzai, of course, who was up and down last year, but has shown flashes of being able to really knock it down from beyond the arc. But when you put this level of offensive ability on the floor, it is dangerous for opponents.
Shot clock winding down. The three away from Santiago. They scramble around inside, and last touched by Kent State. It'll belong to Virginia.
And Tenzai, I thought he was actually going to be off balance because he got pushed coming off the screen, but shooters shoot. Tenzai not going to pass up an opportunity simply because of a little forearm in the back.
Yep. Senior from Northern Italy in Bologna. Virginia with the 4-point lead. Cavaliers on that 8-0 run still. Lob. Huff. Oh, the catch and flush. First points for Huff.
Impressive, and even more impressive than the pass, which was a good one, was the finish by Jay Huff, who had already jumped and turned around, and he didn't dunk that backwards to be flashy. He dunked it backwards out of necessity to make sure he didn't pass by the rim on the alley-oop.
Nuga trying to get started offensively. Had the early layup to open the ball game and has been held in check since after 17 the other night. There's a long three for Mike Nuga. He's got 5. That snaps the Virginia run. And it's a 3-point lead for the Cavaliers.
And right now, Kent State shooting 40% from beyond the arc, and Virginia giving up close to 40% to its opponents thus far this year. One of the areas of concern for Tony Bennett, but one of the things that's not concerning at all is Jay Huff's ability to
3-point lead. Virginia went on a 10-2 run to take control of the margin. Almost thrown away and was turned over. On the break, this is Jacobs trying to get to the rim. Recovered by Jordan, who scores. That's James Jordan, a transfer from Roane State Community College out of Detroit with his first points.
And nothing bothers coaches more than coming out of a timeout and turning the basketball over, especially on the underneath out of bounds play. Giving the opponent the opportunity to get out in transition and score. You know, we talked with Tony Bennett about, you know, the struggles for Virginia thus far this year, especially in the loss to San Francisco. When he mentioned transition defense as a problem, I almost fell out of my chair because, again, I've been around this program ever since Tony Bennett got there, seeing millions of practices, and
right.
I know how much effort and emphasis they put into getting back on defense and transition. Shocking when I watched that game to see that that was the area where Virginia was actually beaten in the game. I don't believe that I've ever seen that in Tony Bennett's tenure in Charlottesville.
Yeah, Justin McCoy, by the way, called for the foul on the offensive end of the floor. Hamilton a little strong with the jump shot off the baseline.
Virginia with 2 straight turnovers on the offensive end of the floor. So right now, this is where you tighten up and recognize where we want to get the basketball. Pick and roll action between Jay Huff, Kihei Clark. Someone's got to help to keep Jay off the rim.
Nice pass from Clark. Kick out for Tenzai. And Santiago the rebound. This is Nuga in transition. Virginia by 1. We're halfway home through the first 20 minutes in Charlottesville. Tend to shoot, and Nuga trying to attack from the wing. Got all the way to the glass. Hamilton tried to keep it alive. Huff controls for Virginia.
We saw Nuga get to the rim earlier in the first possession of the game for a simple layup. That time unable to finish it. But right now, I'm sure Coach Bennett's not happy about the fact that Nuga's getting those runs to the rim. The pack line is designed to keep guys out of the paint.
Cavaliers gone almost 3 minutes, Corey, without a basket.
But we also have to remember that's about how long Sam Howes has been sitting on the bench. But Trey Murphy is able to take care of that, knocking down the 3 for TM3.
Murphy makes it a 4-point advantage. By the way, he's 8-3 of the year, leads Virginia. The drive, Santiago couldn't finish. Clark in the front court. Virginia got a little more steam in their stride here after the 3-ball from Murphy a moment ago.
Hey, seeing the basketball go through the hoops does wonders for your psyche.
Murphy left that short. Jordan the rebound. Golden Flashes want to run now. They are not hesitant at all. Pippen down the lane, lost it over the inline, out of bounds. A turnover for Kent State. Hauser back now for Virginia. And of course, here you go, Corey. Start drawing the lines at nearly what, 19, 20 feet?
Absolutely right. Hauser and Murphy. Hauser 2 years ago, Murphy last year combined made almost as many three-pointers as Virginia did as a team last season. So you can only imagine how excited Coach Bennett and his staff were to have these guys in their lineup as Murphy gets another look from the corner, unable to knock it down. But, you know, and Tony Bennett does kind of a role definition where he says, okay, you have the green light and you don't. And he makes it certain to guys, hey, you know, there's certain shots that you take, certain shots that you don't take. But I'm sure he has given both those guys the green light whenever they get, I'm not even going to say open, but close to open beyond the arc. It's time to let it go.
3-ball from Nuga. And collected inside Hamilton. Rare second chance for the Golden Flash, and Justin Hamilton converts. Third field goal, 6 points for the Temple transfer, who had 8 points and 14 rebounds the other night in his first ball game with Kent State.
You said it, rare opportunity. Virginia does not give up many offensive rebounds. That's another one of the staples of the defense in this program is finishing plays. So when you see them give up an offensive rebound, you know that it's a gentleman on the sideline that is not very happy to see that.
Right. Here's Hauser backing down and scoring against Santiago. Switch off in a mismatch gives Hauser his thirds at Kent.
And even more impressive, he's never had a losing season. So when you consider, you know, Coach Senderoff often has to go play guaranteed games, etc., during the non-conference, but yet has never had a losing season. That's something to be said for what he's been able to do at Kent State.
Yep. Was there as an assistant. Went around, worked for Kelvin Sampson, I guess, at Indiana, among others, in his coaching journey. Came back as an assistant coach, ultimately elevated to head coach. Here's Clark. And kicked out of bounds. Santiago there to reach in. It'll stay with Virginia with just 3 to shoot, though. There's Giovanni Santiago, sophomore from Bayamon in Puerto Rico. Member of their national team, by the way. Went to high school in Cincinnati before signing on at Kent State. So here is Clark. And a reach. Whistle by Ron Groover. It'll be on Santiago, his first. 5th team foul. There's Kihei out of Woodland Hills, California. Hard to believe he's a junior already.
Isn't that something?
Guy's played a lot of basketball. I thought he was a senior.
Absolutely.
I mean, where in the world? Led the league in minutes ago. Walden Tensai, the left hand. And another foul called against the Golden Flashes will get Virginia to the free throw line for the first time tonight. Danny Pippen's first. That is 6. That was before the shot, so Clark to the baseline with a new 20. A catch by Shadrick. And Hamilton, I think, will get ticketed here. Yep. Justin Hamilton's first. 7 on Kent State. Now we'll have free throws.
And Shadrick just using that size to get over the top. When you've got a guy that size and that advantage, you can throw it up to him and allow him to just go chase it, get right to the rim. An opportunity to put points on the board for the Hoops.
3 fouls at this end of the floor. Get Shadrick to the line. And of course, 6 undefeated teams. Highlight our women's basketball tripleheader next Sunday on ACC Network. Start in Pittsburgh. Sam Ravitch, Kelly Gramlich have the Panthers and Clemson. at noon. Then NC State, Boston College, Pam Ward, LaChana Robinson. And we'll finish up with Carolina, Louisville. Beth Mowens, Christy Thomas Scuddy join you for the coverage there. ACC Women's Hoop, better than ever, right here on ACC Network. And always streaming on the ESPN app.
I'll tell you what, the lineup you just ran down to the people working those games, you know, not even the players. But, man, that's a Hall of Fame lineup in itself.
All stars. All stars. Just like working with you. All I gotta do is get it to you in a shooting position.
I'm just the man beside the man, virtually.
Oh, stop it. Here we go. Yeah. Under 6 to go. Foul on McCoy, by the way. First Cavalier with 2. On Virginia's 3rd foul, and Kent State can't do anything with it. On the drive and fouled is Murphy. And that looks like 2 on Danny Pippen. So all of a sudden, some very critical Golden Flashes have picked up a couple.
But that's one of the areas,
and now Danny Pippen.
Yeah, that's one of the areas that Virginia can, exploit on opponents, especially by playing 9 and 10 guys. What Tony Bennett is doing right now. You save your guys, but you can often put the opponents in foul trouble. And I like the fact that Trey Murphy did not come up with that basketball and wait. Virginia is actually trying to push the ball down the floor. They've always been opportunistic in running, but it seems as though they do have more of an emphasis on playing faster this season.
2 fouls on Jacobs, Hamilton, and now Danny Pippen. And I'll wait until you hit both to tell you that Trey Murphy is the ACC's leader in free throws. So he's 10 of 10 now at the line.
You did right. So many people that I work with always want to jinx the guy. Let him live. Let him make the free throws first before you start running off stats like that.
All got knocked out of bounds after the O'Neal miss.
Hey, Wes.
Yes, sir.
I see these cardboard cutouts behind the baskets.
Right.
And we're going to have issues if I'm not one of those. Oh, we're going to have. I don't want to be behind the basket, though. I want to either be in one of these seats or somewhere closer to the floor. But we're going to have issues. We're going to have issues, I'm telling you right now. If I'm not one of those cardboard cutouts, I'm calling somebody at the university. We need to have a conversation.
You mean at Virginia specifically, or would you prefer just to be listed in every ACC arena at this point?
I mean, at this point, I can go all over the ACC, but I definitely should be in the JPJ. Now, at this point, I can be in all 15 arenas in the ACC. I'm okay with that. But between these 2 baskets, I should be in one of those seats.
Okay. We'll see what we can do about that.
Oh, no. That's not going to be on you.
I know it's not. I'm just saying, we'll see what we can do about it. Here's Huff, a catch and shoot. And a 6-point lead for Virginia. And Kent State's had some opportunities here. Corey can't take advantage.
They really
against the number 15 team in the country.
Got another one, and Pippen, who knocked down a 3 earlier, unable to finish that one. But one of the things that they've been able to do is get the looks that they want. They haven't necessarily made them, but oftentimes against this Virginia defense throughout the past 12 years that Tony Bennett has been at Virginia, teams can't even get those looks. The shot clock violations that used to get the crowd on their feet at the JPJ where there's no crowd, and there hasn't been any shot clock violations thus far in this game.
Walden Tensai tried to scoop it into the corner, turns it over. On the run, the layup for Nuga.
Fast
7 for
points.
Mike Nuga.
Fast break points and transition is not something that Virginia is used to giving up. But when you turn the basketball over, it gives the opponents an opportunity to do that. No one able to even get back on the defensive end with that turnover by Walden Tensai.
Hauser, front rim miss of the 3. Here's Nuga again. Santiago standing on the line. Senderhoff doesn't look like he's interested in having his team wait on Virginia to get set either, Corey.
No one wants to play against Virginia's half-court defense. So if you get a look in transition, you better take it.
Cavaliers haven't scored in almost 4 minutes from the floor. Here's Walden Tensai. He'll snap that drought. Walden Tensai now with 5 in this first half.
Oh, no, that's actually a point. But look, I'm not there. My little sis, Amy Williford, also Jason Williford's actual real little sister, she's not there. Sissy Leatherwood, she's not there. We are mainstays at the JPJ. How is it that we are not in the mix?
I am sure these folks would be happy to accommodate you for a nominal fee.
That's the thing. I already give my nominal fee. That's the problem. I should already have one.
Casey Morcell commits the foul. It'll be his first.
And this is Casey Morcell's first action on the evening. Coming into the game after 17 minutes. And he's been in the rotation, averaging 5.3 points per game. But right now, this is his first time checking in.
Yeah. It's a lineup that features Clark, Beekman, Morcell, Huff, and Hauser for Virginia now with a 6-point lead and 2:35 to go. Santiago inside. And that is Bainbridge, young sophomore Evan Bainbridge, who they're excited about, drawing the foul at the rim. He'll get a couple of free throws.
But Wes, as you run down this lineup moves Sam Hauser to the 4 position. So now you've got the 3 best defensive guards for Virginia with Clark, Beekman, and Casey Morcell on the floor. When you talk about putting pressure on the basketball, these 3 are their best. That moves Hauser to the 4 spot, keeps Huff at the 5. So right now, Tony Bennett is showing that he's not happy with the way things have gone for his team defensively in the first half. Regardless of the score, he doesn't like the way things are going, so he's got a defensive lineup in the game.
Bainbridge knocks down his first 2 free throws of the year. So Kent State's going to play big here too, Corey. They brought Danny Pippen off the floor and brought Justin Hamilton back, playing with the 2 fouls. So Hamilton 6'11", Bainbridge 6'9" on the floor now for Coach Sunderhall. Clark tried to work along the baseline. Santiago stepped in his path. Oh my goodness, Beekman lost his shoe. Clark with 1 to shoot. Front rim miss, Santiago the rebound. Golden Flashes trying to create an advantage.
You know, I got to give the Golden Flashes credit. They have pushed the ball down the floor. They haven't always been great in transition, but they have really put pressure on Virginia to get back and get that defense set. Oftentimes, they've been able to get easy buckets because of it.
Golden Flashes, 1 of their last 7 after the miss there. We get to the final 90 seconds of the first half. Huff hard to the basket with the right hand. They had him for a second, then Court fell off.
Wes, you know one thing I would say, Jay Huff can put together a very nice mixtape. He's got some highlights at Virginia. I mean, he had a whole game of highlights against Duke a year ago, but when you think about what he's done in some of his SportsCenter specials, he can definitely put together a highlight reel.
Both of his field goals are dunks in this first half. Nugent missed the 3, saved by Jacobs. Nice pass, Bainbridge, and Hamilton the layup. 8 for Justin Hamilton here in the first half.
For certain is Virginia has not been able to get that separation from Kent State. And a lot of it is because Virginia has not been able to hold Kent State for long stretches of time. So those notorious droughts that they put teams in for the past 10 years with Tony Bennett on the sideline coaching. There you go. The big fella. Add that to you talk about all he's doing is dunking. Throw that in the mix, West Durham.
Yep. Third 3 of the year for Huff. He's got 7. Cavalier lead is 7. Final possession belongs to Kent State if they want it here. Santiago off the screen. Pull up 3. And out of there with it, Beekman at the horn. And Virginia will take a 29.
This is a defensive lineup.
No question about it. Walden Tenside's out there now, Corey. He did. Walden Tenside did start second half. Here's Huff at the front. Clark, bounce pass for Beekman. And that got knocked away. Jacobs, a nice play. And Santiago back to Malik Jacobs. Remember, Kent State had 3 guys, Corey, with 2 fouls each at the end of the first half. Hamilton, Jacobs, and Pippen. All 3 on the floor as we start half 2 for the Golden Flashes.
Yeah, they're fortunate to be able to survive the half with only 2 and still stay in striking distance, only down 7. That's the 5th turnover for Virginia in this game. You see the defense get drawn in. That's one of the areas of concern, is that defense gets drawn in, being able to close out to shooters. Tough rotation for Walter Tenzow over there, giving up the lane for an easy bucket.
Yeah, Jacobs' first points. He had 6 the other night and 4 assists in his Kent State debut. In their win at home against Point Park from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, by the way. Hauser under 10 to shoot. Nice entry, and Huff scores. 9 for Jay Huff on his 4th field goal. 6 of 7 the other night against St. Francis. He's 4 for 5 here this evening.
It's been a large topic of conversation in Charlottesville and around the basketball world, with Virginia going to the 5-out offense, which keeps Jay Huff on the perimeter. But I think that he has an opportunity when he catches the basketball in the paint to be successful. So I like the mixing it up between the mover blocker offense as well as the 5-out to give Jay Huff opportunities to be able to score in the paint, because he's talented as an offensive basketball player.
Yep. Here's Clark sliding in front, and fouled by Jacobs. That'll be number 3 on Malik Jacobs, first of the half on Kent State. And that'll get Kihei Clark a couple of free throws. All right, Corey. Clark goes to the line, junior from Woodland Hills, California. I mentioned Point Park, okay, who was Kent State's opponent the other night. What legendary ACC coach, his first head coaching job was at Point Park in Pittsburgh?
Well, I told you when we talked about this before the game that I wasn't going to Google it, right?
Yep.
So my answer is I have absolutely no idea.
All right, just take a guess.
Okay, so if I'm going to take a guess.
Let me put it this way. You know the guy very well, but he did not coach at Virginia. Clark hits both free throws. Virginia's got their largest lead.
Bobby Crimmins?
That is correct.
Oh, there you go. You see, all I needed was a lifeline. You throw me a hint every now and then, I can get it done.
I just said you know him very well. That's correct, is it not?
And that was the lifeline that I needed to allow me to get the trivia question correct.
I'm not going to hang you out on opening night, at least for us. It's our opening night, not yours. You've been working like a marathon man. 7-point lead after the jump shot from Santiago, his first bucket of the night.
WD.
Yeah.
I had an issue during halftime, okay? Wait a minute. Let me see Reese knock this down first.
No, missed it.
Okay.
Santiago, the rebound.
So I had an issue during halftime. So one of my moms, Barbara Franklin, tells me that you pay $75 for these cutouts. Another turnover by Virginia.
And Nuga went for the dunk and draws the foul.
Okay, so that's the 6th turnover for Virginia, by the way. I know Coach Bennett not happy about that, but
right.
So you pay $75 for these cutouts, okay? So a lot of beautiful faces in the crowd. Hey, wait a minute. I wonder if they paid $150 for the couple up there, though. You can't have 2 people in there. See, that's different. All right. So now
you don't need to worry about the economics of the whole situation. You just need to decide if you're going to drop the 75, apparently.
No. So Barbara Franklin, one of my moms, said that she would pay the $75 for me if I cut off my beard. No dice. I want my cutout to have the beard. I'm going to have 2. I'm going to give $150. I'll pay it myself and make sure I get one with the beard and one without. Dirk Castro hit me up. I'll do that. I will pledge my $150 to have 2 cutouts in the stands. I want one on each end of the basket.
All right. A little bit of maintenance here to the ball game. Walden Tensai whistled for the foul.
So it wasn't on the dunk attempt.
No. And there is the dunk from Hamilton. Justin Hamilton has double figures with 10. And Kent State, who trailed 9 a moment ago, down 5 after 4 in a row. 3 and change gone, second half at Charlottesville, and there's a foul on the perimeter. And that is on Danny Pippen, his 3rd, second on the Golden Flashes.
One of the things that you're seeing, and right now that's a mismatch. Jay Huff should not be up there guarding, but in the rotation getting back, you're seeing the easy lob. But Kent State is playing in the painted area. That's not something that Virginia is used to allow their opponents to be able to do is get into that painted area alone, and also to be able to make plays and passes with no pressure on them inside that area.
Long two by Huff. Rebound for Jacobs. Here is Nuga, who, by the way, had 17 the other night, had 7 in the first half for Kent State. Bounce pass, nice entry, catch. Pippen had it blocked. Good play at the rim by the Cavaliers.
It was actually a great play by Jay Huff to save what was a defensive breakdown. No way you gamble for that basketball and give up the layup, but give Jay Huff credit for coming over and having his teammates back.
Out front, Hauser. On the move. Rattles out for Hamilton. Santiago. Tried to cut it back door. On the drive goes Jacobs. And Malik Jacobs takes a fall, and the whistle will stop play. And Pepper brings you Georgia Tech, NC State tomorrow with Chris Cotter, Mark Herzlich, and Eric Wood. And then in prime time, presented by Geico, from the fabled Horseshoe on the West Campus, Corey, Miami and Duke. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, Katie George.
So, WD, you got a football game tomorrow at noon, and you're hanging out with me tonight?
That's right.
Hardest working man in the ACC network. I'm telling you, Packer and Durham in the morning.
2020, man.
You're absolutely right. I feel you, brother.
Yeah, we're doing the 2020 style tonight. 5-point lead for Virginia, missed by the Cavaliers, and Jeremiah Hernandez, the sophomore from Chicago, who had 13 off the bench the other night, and they get it to Hamilton, who scores. Justin Hamilton with a dozen.
Another uncontested layup right at the rim to make it a one-possession game for Kent State. And give the Golden Flashes credit. They have not been scared. Their coach wondered how they would respond to being able to come in and play against the reigning national champions. Of course, I got to continue to throw that out there.
Reach in on Santiago, his second.
And the rotation's just not quick enough for Virginia. Justin McCoy, if you're the next guy, you got to get down there and take away the open opportunity. And, you know, when you look at this Virginia team, it has been a significant upgrade offensively, no question about it. Sam Hauser, Trey Murphy coming into the lineup, their ability to shoot the three has been a difference maker. But losing Braxton Key and losing Mamdi Diakite is a downgrade defensively. Both those guys were awesome on the defensive end of the floor, and they made up for a lot of mistakes that often happen between their teammates.
Here's Hauser. Morsell, you saw check in, drives to the basket, scores. First field goal for Casey Morsell.
Like seeing that from Casey, taking the basketball to the rim, not only relying on his jump shot, but getting the ball to the basket, getting some easy ones, opens things up for him on the perimeter.
Hernandez split the double, kick for Nuga's three. Mike Nuga now with 10 in the ball game on his second triple.
Nuga did the
first
easy
guy
part
in the ball game to hit more than 1 3, Corey, for either school.
Yeah, Nuga did the easy part, though. He just knocked down the three. The split of the ball screen was the actual play that took 2 Virginia defenders out of it, allowed Kent State really to play 5-on-3 on the backside.
Clark squeezes baseline. Santiago the foul.
And again, playing pick and roll defense, this cannot happen. You cannot allow, and you see Justin McCoy jump way too high out, giving the angle for the split. And now it's downhill from there. There are not enough Virginia defenders in order to be able to take advantage or take care of everyone below the free throw line for Kent State. An easy kick out for 3.
Clark's 3 for 3 at the line for his 6. You see Trey Murphy's in. Danny Pippen returns for the Golden Flashes.
Justin McCoy leaving the game. You can tell not happy about it, but it's because of the split of the pick and roll. And again, there are certain things that Tony Bennett will live with, and there are others that he will not. And recognizing how important defense is to Tony Bennett and the success of this program, paying attention to detail is part of what you have to do in order to be a part of this lineup. And right now, Virginia not doing that on the defensive end. And Nuga is starting to find his rhythm in the JPJ.
He's got 3 threes and now 13 for Mike Nuga. And a foul called on Virginia at the offensive end. And it's on Shedrick. It'll be his first. And second of the half, I think, on the Cavaliers. Kent State has not led since it was 9-7, Corey.
Right now, you can tell they're playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. And, you know, Wes, it's hard to really see where this is where the crowd would actually be so involved in the game. And again, you don't have that level of emotion. Virginia doesn't have that support system on its home court. And not as an excuse, but that is part of playing college basketball, having that crowd behind you. And without that crowd behind you, they've got to find that energy by themselves, especially on the defensive end of the floor. Because right now, Kent State is playing with way more energy.
Murphy on the foul, on the drive, draws the foul. A couple of free throws coming for Trey Murphy. Quick reminder to you about ACC Women's Hoops on Thursday. A doubleheader coming your way. North Carolina. Courtney Banghart and Jen Hoover of Wake Forest. Match wits at the Joel Coliseum at 6 o'clock, and then at 8. Quentin Hillsman in Syracuse on the road in South Florida to meet Katie Myers' Miami Hurricanes. 8 o'clock, tip time on ACC Network, streaming live on that ESPN app. Free throw from Murphy rims off. He's got 5 in the ball game.
Was that his first missed free throw of the year?
It was. He went 10 of 10 before missing. Nuga out. He's got 6.5, 13 in the ball game. He and Hamilton have got 25 of Kent State's 38. 1 point lead for the Golden Flash, and now it's tied. Well, Murphy's 6 points. These two teams have not met in 46 years. In fact, 46 years to the day since their first meeting. 1974 at University Hall. And a travel called on Danny Pippen. Cavaliers won that ball game, by the way, Corey, 58-40. That's Kent State's 6th turnover. Dave Kester's had 16 points to lead Virginia. Mark Ivoroni had a dozen. And the tall Virginian Dan Bonner had 9.
Wait, Bonner scored?
9 points.
I thought Bonner was just a screen setter, as Virginia has another turnover.
Here's Kent on the drive with Pippen missing the layup. And last touch by Kent State and Gabe O'Neal.
So Wally Walker must not have been on the lineup yet.
1974-75. No,
he couldn't have been in the roster.
Wally was on the roster that night, but it is of note that Bonner had 9. By the way, Ricky Gates had a dozen for Kent State. Mike Miller had 8 for the Golden Flashes in a losing effort. Just thought I'd give you a little deeper research tonight, Corey. Especially when I saw Bonner had 9. I thought that was relevant to the conversation. Huff is fouled at the block. And we will get a timeout. Locked up at 38.
To the tune of a tie ball game with 11:49 remaining, and we have an opportunity to look at Nuga. 2 seasons at East Florida Junior College, 14.2 points per game. With UC, he has the ability to score. He's been a scorer wherever he's been.
Pippen trying to defend Huff at the post. And they scramble for it. And out of there comes the drive of Nuga.
Okay, so this is where I'm starting to get concerned. There are 3 Wahoos back. Nuga dribbles past 3 players for a layup. Transition defense has been the concern for Tony Bennett ever since the San Francisco game. I'm not understanding why this hasn't changed for Virginia, as Hauser's knocking down to 3 to give Virginia the lead back, which they need, but they've got to find a way to come up with some stops because Kent State is playing too comfortable on their offensive end of the floor.
10 for Hauser on his second 3 and a steal. Beekman on the drive and the score. 5 in a row for the Cavaliers.
I can't help but to think about how JPJ would be rocking right now after the 5-0 run for Virginia to regain the lead, and how they will be cheering this team on to try to create some separation in this game.
Three ball from Pippen.
But instead,
now all of a sudden, Kent State is showing some of those characteristics that Rob Senderhoff thought he was going to see from his team, or hoped to see from his team, Corey.
Well, he knew he was going to see it from Pippen. He told us, he said, I know one guy that's going to show up. He looks like he belongs out there amongst ACC competition, and he's done just that. He wasn't sure about everyone else, but he and Nuga have definitely looked as though they belong.
Offensive foul. Smart play by the Cavaliers in the half-court set there.
Very smart play, because that's the fourth foul on Pippen.
Yep.
And Pippen, who has knocked it down to 3 and playing very well, now he has to exit the game. 10 minutes remaining, only one foul remaining on his tab. So very smart play by Casey Morsell there, stepping up and getting the offensive foul.
Well, Morsell, who earned a playing time last year because he was able to shut down some perimeter threats. And Virginia's calendar does it here. Forces a turnover. Cavaliers can take the lead. Huff, nice pass, and Murphy flushes it. Since number 8, NC State and Boston College, and then at 4 o'clock, North Carolina and 5th-ranked Louisville. All right here on ACC Network, streaming live on the ESPN app. 2-point lead for the Cavaliers with Corey Alexander, Wes Durham. Sean Fulton is our producer tonight. Mike Schuler, our director. And a 3-ball by Santiago. Pushes the Golden Flashes back in front. 5 for Giovanni Santiago.
K.A. Clark got lost on that possession, turned his head. His man relocated and was able to knock down the 3 to give Kent State the lead right back.
Mike Nuga going to draw the foul. It'll be his first and number 6, I believe, in the second half on the Golden Flashes. And Casey Morsell will get to the line here.
I like Casey being able to play off the bounce, getting to the rim. An opportunity to see the basketball go through the hoop. His struggles last year from three-point range have been well documented, but he relied on that too much as an offensive player. Has the ability to get to the rim, as he's shown, just didn't use it much. I'm glad that here in his second year now, he has integrated that into his game and is using his quickness and speed to be able to find opportunities to attack the rim.
O'Neal comes out of the ball game. You saw Evan Bainbridge report back. And Morsell, who knocked down his first free throw of the year, now adds a second.
Wes, we're seeing Tony Bennett with, playing 10 players. And that is not very characteristic of Tony Bennett, but he has, 10 or more players that he actually are talented enough to be able to contribute on this team. But with no true preseason, with no exhibition games, no secret scrimmages, Tony Bennett is having to use these non-conference games right now to figure out what their rotation is going to be, which groups play best together, which is part of the reason why he's really starting games the way that he is, almost in a platoon system. Reese Beekman and K.A. Clark splitting time as far as who starts at the point guard, who comes off the bench. And then, of course, in the second half, they're out there together. So right now, COVID robbed Tony Bennett and every other coach in the country of an opportunity to really being able to get to know their teams during the summer and with those exhibition and secret scrimmage games. So right now, Tony Bennett just trying to figure it out on the fly, as is everyone else. And right now, you see Virginia doesn't have much continuity in their rotation.
4 for Jacobs, all in the second half. And here is Hauser back in the ball game to spell Trey Murphy the third. 1-point lead for Kent State, under 9 to go. Gamble by Jacobs out front. And now here's Morsell. Beekman. Hauser in the corner against Hamilton. High arcing fall away, good.
That's a tough shot. That's just being, I'm better than you are. I can go make this play. That shot is not part of Virginia's offense. That is Sam Hauser saying, look, my team needs a bucket, and I can go get us one, and getting it done.
Yep, 1-point lead for Virginia. Hauser's got a dozen. Spinning move, Santiago tried to kick it to Hamilton. Shot clock at 8. Jacobs got to do something. 3. Hamilton with 1 on the clock. Air ball will send it to Virginia with 8 minutes to go.
Shot clock violation, a staple of Virginia's defense, especially at home when a crowd is normally cheering on, but they brought their own energy and came up with a big stop. Tony Bennett has brought to this program, and we'll see if Virginia can build off of their first shot clock violation of the game.
Hauser, who hit a big turnaround a moment ago to put the Cavaliers in front. Now the freshman Beekman. Five to shoot. Morcell up and under. And a shot clock violation. And the table gets turned on Virginia there by the Golden Flashes.
Not the shot clock violation that Virginia's used to, where they don't get a look, especially in their own building. And right now, Virginia with 10 turnovers in this game. And normally, Virginia's a team that averages about 10 a year, which is close to tops in the country, but only 7.7 a game thus far this season. So above the season average and an inter-opportunity turnover on the last possession.
Jacobs. Kick out. Nuga for 3. Drained it.
Wes, that's the second time. This time it was Casey Morcell where a defender committed to helping on a man that was already stopped, losing their man and giving up a wide-open 3. It was Kihei Clark on the earlier possession. This time it's Casey Morcell, 2 veteran defenders, and know that that's not part of the way that they have to play on the defensive end of the floor.
18 for Nuga, 11.5, and there's a foul on Hamilton. I think will be his 3rd.
So as Casey Morcell gets his hand caught in the cookie jar, Nuga relocates to a wide-open spot. If you don't come away with that basketball, still you put your team in a tough position. And that's exactly what happened there, allowing Nuga to knock down his 4th 3 on the game and regain the lead for the Golden Flashes.
Here is Huff at the line. These are just his 5th and 6th free throw attempts of the year. And you see Walden Tensai reports back to replace Morcell. Corey, how much of the things you were talking about earlier, the full practice schedule in the fall, the camps, the scrimmages, the exhibition games, how much of that stuff is complicating matters for Tony Bennett here in his 12th season?
Certain number, 27 if you're playing in a 3-game tournament to 24 regular season games. So it's going to be interesting to see how Tony Bennett handles that, but they've got some stiff competition coming up very soon.
Golden Flashes have hit 4 of their last 5, and a foul called against Virginia at the post. Huff and Walden Tensai in discussion here.
And Wes, right now what Tony Bennett is trying to determine is, does he need offense on the floor or defense on the floor? Casey Morcell was the guy before. He's trusting Reek Beekman and Kihei Clark defensively and offensively right now, but Walden Tensai and Morcell going back and forth. We haven't seen much at all of Trey Murphy in this half, nor Justin McCoy.
Here's a lob into the corner, too strong and too high for Nuga to collect. Beekman, by the way, was defending Nuga, who has been really good in the second half for Coach Senderhoff.
And the 10th turnover for Kent State, so both teams with 10 turnovers right now as the game comes down to the final moments and where you have to be better with the basketball.
Hauser on the drive. Jacobs deflected it and gathers for Kent. The Golden Flashes here now. A year ago, won 20 games, went level par at 9-9 in the Mid-American Conference. They're expected and projected to kind of be middle of the road in the MAC this year. They're trying to go to 2-0 and upset number 15 here with 5 and change to go, and that ball got kicked by Walden Tensai. It will stay with Kent State.
And we'll reset the shot clock to 20 seconds where it was down to 7.
Yeah. Quick reminder to you that following our coverage here from Charlottesville, we'll send you to Coral Gables, and then after that, all ACC tonight with Dowling Cuff and I think it's Kelsey Riggs there tonight, Corey.
We forget her name on a regular basis.
Highlights and scores from the games tonight. Roddy Jones stops by and more as we get ready for a big Saturday of ACC football. All ACC tonight at 10, following the Hatters and the Canes with Anish Shroff and Paul Biancardi at the microphone tonight. Here's Huff on the drive and the score. Cavaliers back in front on the 5th field goal for Jay Huff tonight.
Jay Huff is super skilled. One thing for certain about him, offensively, he's got the total package. He can be huge for this team this season. I'm hoping he has a great 5th year for the Hoosiers.
Yep. Nuga working against the freshman. 5 to shoot. Santiago off the reset of the screen and uses the window. 8 for Santiago. Normally I would say take it off. Doesn't count. You cannot bank it in from over there if you don't call it. And I know he didn't call it because we can hear the action on the floor right now. But being that they're playing on the road, I guess he's got to get the bucket. Kent State back in front. Huff on the drive. Lost it. Cavaliers turn it over. Nuga trying to win the race to the glass and does. 20 for Mike Nuga. The lead is 4 for the Golden Flashes. And another transition layup. One player beats 4. This is not something you're used to seeing if you've watched as much Virginia basketball as I have, and I'm sure the people tuning into this telecast have. You're not used to seeing this. Ball grazed off the leg of Pippen over the end line. 14 to shoot when we come back. Have the ball on the baseline. 14 to shoot for Kihei Clark. On the drive, Clark all the way in and scores. Nicely done, Kihei Clark. Second field goal. And Kihei did a great job there, going to the rim with intent on scoring, not going to the rim looking to kick the basketball out. Kent State did not help on any of the shooters. Great job by Kihei finishing with the reverse layup. 2-point game. Santiago backdoor, and Jacobs went for the dunk. And a foul is called, I believe, on Walden Tensai. Kihei Clark on the offensive end of the floor getting to reverse layup, and you see he's got an open lane because no one from Kent State wants to help and leave for one of the Virginia shooters, allowing them to get a look. But on the other end of the floor, we talked about it, Wes, Tony Bennett right now having to decide between offense and defense. We know Kihei Clark and Reese Beekman are 2 of his better offensive and defensive guards, but right now, going with Hauser at the 4, he's having to decide between Casey Morsell, who gives him the defense, or Thomas Walden-Tensai, who gives him the offense. And Walden-Tensai getting backdoor cut on that possession allows Kent State to add to their lead. Yep, you see the differential tonight at the line. Kihei Clark again. That time Santiago will draw the foul. So Gio picks up the 8th team foul. 10th rather. So 2 shots now. Would have been 2 anyway for Clark. And the first one no good. And what we're seeing right now, the last couple of possessions, is what we saw from Kihei Clark last year. When his team needed a bucket, he did a great job of getting inside the painted area, oftentimes kicking it out to shooters, or going to score on his own. One of the reasons why he was an all ACC performer a year ago. And in my opinion, for this team to be as good as they need to be, he will have to be that level of player again with Reese Beekman on his side playing that secondary point guard position. 10 for Clark, 7.5. The lead 2 for Kent State. We're under 3 to go. Nuga's been really good in the second half here, especially for the Golden Flashes. And a turnover that time. Pippen tried to find Hamilton. Yeah, great rotation by Walden-Tensai, knowing exactly where he was supposed to be, spacing the floor defensively, and getting in the right spot to come up with the turnover. Here's Clark again, driving in, will draw another foul against Kent State. Corey, his field game is really good. just the way he senses the ball game is and what he needs to do to help his team. The feel of the floor, if you will.
And Wes, he didn't just start doing that when he got to Virginia. I watched him do that for the Oakland Soldiers when they won Peach Jam years ago. And, you know, that's who he is. And that's the reason why Tony Bennett loves and respects Kihei Clark the way he does. You know, and these are the moments where he has to step up and really be the leader of this team. We know that Sam Hauser is the best player, but successful teams give the basketball to the point guard and allow the point guard to make plays when it matters most. That's what happened when Ty Jerome was running the show for Virginia, making the left-handed whip pass across the court to DeAndre Hunter to win the national championship. And Kihei Clark has to be that guy for this team.
Cavaliers have left a couple shots at the line. Nuga misses a three. So just ahead of 2 minutes to go now. Virginia trailing 1.
Go again, Kihei.
Here's Clark. Beekman, Hauser, Walden Tensai. Huff. Nice take around Hamilton. Foul is called on Justin Hamilton. That'll be his 4th. And free throws coming for Jay Huff to potentially give Virginia the lead here.
And you see just a bit of the skill that Jay Huff has. He's a matchup problem because of his ability to shoot the 3 ball. Big men aren't used to coming out there defending the 3 and trying to stop him from getting to the rim. But he's got to verify it here at the free throw line to try to get this lead back for the Hoops.
Huff now knocks down the free throw, ties the game at 57. And Kent State's got some foul trouble. 3 guys with 4 here in the ball game. Hamilton, Santiago, Pippen, Jacobs with 3. And Huff puts Virginia in front. 7.5, 14 in the ball game. 10th lead change in this half with 1:40 to go. Santiago. Here's Pippen. The veteran Golden Flash drives to the basket.
That's a tough bucket by Pippen. Give him credit for that. Just strike. Right-hand drive to the rim.
And a foul called.
And Pippen just beating Sam Hauser to the middle of the floor. Getting to a spot, able to finish. Pippen playing with 4 fouls.
Santiago fouls out of the ball game. Guarding Kihei Clark. Gio with 8 tonight, all in the second half. First time he's fouled out in his career for Rob Sutterhoff. And Kihei Clark will go to the line with a chance to put Virginia in front here. Clark's left 2 at the line in his last 4 tries. And that one rolls into tied at 59.
Kihei's put a lot of pressure on Kent State's defense, trying to keep him out of the painted area.
Second one good. Virginia in front now. 75 seconds to go, Corey. Jacobs. And a foul on Beekman on the perimeter.
To give Coach Senderhoff credit, they're running some very nice action for Kent State. He told us, you know, Tony Bennett is going to be a Hall of Fame coach. My job tonight is for him to look down there.
Timeouts, Corey. Jeremiah Hernandez, scoreless tonight, had 13 the other night on the floor, and Jacobs goes right to the basket, rejected by Huff. Pulled the trigger quick. Walden Tensai. Now Clark. 10 to shoot. Beats Huff. Blocked and fouled by Jacobs. That will be his fourth. And 2 free throws for Jay Huff.
And Wes, we've talked about Virginia finding out about their rotations and about their team, but one thing remains the same, and I believe it's been, rediscovered tonight. When things get tough, you put the ball in the hands of Kihei Clark. And you've got a much better chance of good things happening for you when he's the one making the plays for this team. Similar to when he was the one making the play to beat Purdue, to send the game into overtime, where Virginia was able to move on to the Final Four.
Huff hits them both. So it's now 3 with 38.5 seconds left. If you're Kent State, what do you want here, Corey? 2 possessions, or are you trying to take it to 1?
I'm going quickly, not necessarily concerned about whether it's a 3 or a 2. Just get a good look, and then you put the pressure on your defense.
Pippen to tie. Long rebound for Nuga. Mike Nuga against Kihei Clark. Here's Pippen with 10. Long 3. Air ball. Jacobs tried to save it. And it last touched the Cavalier. I think Beekman 5.2 left.
I believe Jacobs threw that off of Jay Huff going out of bounds. And the officials are going to review it to make sure they got it back in bounds. So
Hernandez to put it in play. In the corner, Nuga 3. Rebound kicked out. Here's Pippen at the horn. Overtime in Charlottesville. Pippen's score over the top has given us overtime. And Hamilton deflected the tap, and here are the Golden Flashes with the first possession in the overtime. You see Kent State gets a timeout to work with. Here's a 3 ball from Nuga that rims out.
And
Pippen
another offensive
will give
rebound.
Kent State a second chance. Yep. Hernandez playing with Jacobs, Nuga, Pippen, and Hamilton. 8 to shoot. Here's Pippen again. Down the lane. Knocked away, scooped up, and the throw hit the rim, so another offensive chance. 3rd try for the Golden Flashes, and finally Huff is able to tug it away. 10 offensive rebounds, Corey, for Kent State tonight.
And I cannot remember the last time I've watched a Virginia game or been a part of a Virginia game where they were out-rebounded with offensive rebound, especially with Tony Bennett as the head coach.
Kihei Clark missed the jump shot. Malik Jacobs the deflection. Golden Flashes are 0 for 4 already in the overtime.
But the issue there is, Wes, that they have four looks. Virginia's got
right.
1.
Jeremiah Hernandez. Now Pippen out of a double team. Hamilton the catch, and had it stripped out of there by Reese Beekman.
And fortunate, Hamilton didn't realize that, he's got a 6'2" point guard on his back. All he had to do was go up and lay that up. A great pass by Pippen out of the double team. Hamilton just unable to take advantage of it.
Hauser couldn't get a clean look, so he moved in the air by Hamilton for the bucket. .14 in the ball game now for Sam Hauser, the Marquette transfer. Under 3 to go in the overtime. Virginia with the lead. Pippen through traffic, lost it. Hamilton couldn't hang on to it. Huff touched it last. 3 on the shot clock, Corey, after the bucket by Hauser gave Virginia the lead.
And Sam Hauser doing a great job putting Pippen in drive, attacking the basket, recognizing Pippen has 4 fouls. He doesn't want to foul out of this game, so he's not going to give much resistance to Hauser. And Hauser does a great job finishing over top of Hamilton to give Virginia the 2-point lead.
Here's Nuga. Fall away. Hit the rim. Rebounded by Beekman. Halfway through the overtime, and Clark again trying to get to the rack.
And right now it's a little early. I'm not sure if you want to go.
Offensive foul on Wolden Tensai.
But again, that was early in the shot clock for Kihei Clark to really start to initiate the offense. You have a 2-point lead. There's no point in being in a hurry. And because Kihei loses the basketball, it ends up in the hands of Wolden Tensai. It becomes a turnover for Virginia, giving the ball right back to Kent State.
2-point game. Nuga. Here's Pippen. Little crossover gets him to the rim. Couldn't finish it. Under 2 to go, Corey.
Right now, if you're Virginia, run your offense, kill some time on this shot clock, get the shot that you want under 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Kihei Clark. Wolden Tensai a 3. And it's saved by Hauser.
Great hustle by Sam Hauser. More importantly, you kill time on the clock. Resets to 20. Same action. Get something going under 10 seconds.
On the drive, Huff can't finish it. Rebound pulled away by Pippen. Still a 2-point game. Hamilton might have had a path. Here's the cut. Hamilton inside, can't finish against Wolden Tensai.
Virginia fortunate.
A minute left to go, and Virginia lucky there, huh?
Yeah, once again, Hamilton, that's the second time he's had a guard covering him at the rim, but unable to come away with points. Great rotation by Wolden Tensai to get over and stop him.
10 to shoot for Clark. Hauser. Big 3 from Sam Hauser.
I mean, take away time from yourself and trying to make a comeback right now.
Yep. Here's Malik Jacobs. He'll take it on the catch again. Tried to skip it for Pippen. A 3 over the top of Hauser, rims off. Huff the rebound. And now Clark will be fouled in the backcourt by Hamilton. That will disqualify him with a dozen points tonight. And he'll become the second Kent State player to foul out of the ball game.
The Kent State foul on 21, Justin Hamilton. That's his 5th personal foul.
Clark is a couple of free throws away from potentially closing the show. Pippen got this thing to overtime on a 3 at the end of regulation. But since we've gone to the extra session, Corey, Kent State has not been able to put any points on the board, including 4 shots on their first possession of overtime.
And even with that, I'm not sure that Coach Bennett will be happy with the defensive effort that he's seen from his team in the second half, really the entire game. Kent State was way too comfortable on Virginia's home floor, and I recognize that there's no crowd and there's no energy that you draw from the crowd, but this is still familiar territory for Virginia.
Jacobs gets the drive. 4-point game. Still 2 possessions. They tried to get the quick foul. Here's the outlet. And they did get a whistle into the backcourt. And Malik Jacobs. That'll be his 5th. Jacobs will foul out with 7 tonight. All in the second half and overtime.
Sam Hauser with 17 points, but huge points in overtime for Virginia, attacking the basket and then stepping up, knocking down the 3. 7 for 14 from the field, shooting 50%, and an opportunity to add some more separation in this game. And give Sam Hauser credit for showing up when Virginia needed him most. You know, we talked about the rotations. We talked about who's going to play, but one thing that's going to be a constant, Sam Hauser is going to be in the lineup for Virginia, and they're going to need him to have a special year.
Front rim miss for Hauser. 5-point game. Nuga for Pippen, another 3. That partially blocked. Huff the rebound with 9 seconds left, and that should about do it for Virginia tonight. Cavaliers had to strain through this 40 minutes and change, though, Corey.
They really did. And we've seen this before. Virginia was tested by Vermont early in the non-conference schedule a year ago. I mean, when you can make threes, as Mike Nuga did, you can keep yourself in a game versus Virginia. But Virginia came up with the timely stops when they needed to in overtime and will walk out of here with a win. But things do not get easier for this team. Wednesday night, Michigan State comes into the building, and Michigan State with a big win over Duke at Cameron Indoor, trying to make it a sweep of the ACC this year.
Huff hits them both. 71-64. Will not be indicative of how close this one was. Jordan at the horn. And the ball rebounded by Hauser, and Virginia wins.